In today's video, we'll be talking about feminine rage. Feminine rage is one of the most misunderstood and suppressed emotions that women have. Women have been conditioned for centuries to silence the anger and to make it pretty, to swallow it down for the sake of being liked, accepted, or safe. That's how all of this people pleasing came about, right? But rage is not the enemy. Rage is sacred. Rage is the fire that actually reveals where your boundaries have been crossed, where injustice has been tolerated, and where you have been betraying yourself by playing small. So to feel rage is to feel your life force energy demanding to move, demanding movement. It's your body basically saying, enough, no more shrinking, no more silence, no more betrayal of self, right? So rage at its core is energy with a purpose. And that's not a sweet talk rage. It's just in this video, we're talking about how to alchemize your emotions. And in this case, how to alchemize your feminine rage. So this rage, it arises when your sense of justice, your boundaries, or even your deepest values, they are being violated in some shape, way, or form. And unlike the destructive stereotype we've been taught, rage doesn't have to lead to chaos or destruction. When it's being alchemized, when it has been alchemized, feminine rage becomes this creative fire, and it becomes this personal power that you have and fuel for your actual transformation. So think of it this way: rage is the raw signal. It's not asking you to explode outward recklessly like you usually do. It's simply asking you to listen, to pay attention to where your yes has been ignored and where your no has not been honored or has not been respected, right? So why does rage even come up in the first place? Well, first off, we have the generational conditioning. So women taught to be nice, be quiet, don't be too much, right? Then there's also unexpressed grief. So often rage is grief in disguise, love that just feels betrayed or unseen or just hasn't been felt yet. Then it could also be energetic stagnation. So when emotions are just overall being suppressed and the body just wants to explode after a while. So it erupts with this fire, with this huge amount of energy. So it's just energy that is stuck, that needs to be moved. And the last thing is when injustice happens. So when you experience, let's say, inequality or some type of betrayal or just overall a violation of your values, right? When you allow yourself to feel rage, the feminine rage, instead of suppressing it, rage actually awakens some type of clarity within you, and it shows you where change is needed within you. It reclaims its boundaries and it reconnects you with your actual voice, right? Rage can actually be the spark that transforms your entire life, and from staying in cycles of self abandonment to finally embodying your fullest truth. So, how do we work with rage? How do we actually alchemize feminine rage? Well, like I said, it can come from stuck energy. So, the first aspect I'm going to name is somatic release. Rage is energy that is in your body. So, you need to move it through primal practices. For example, just let it out by screaming into a pillow. Sometimes I love screaming in my car because nobody can hear me. I can be as silly and loud as I want. Screaming actually releases so much energy within you, and it's not done enough. The second thing is you can just dance aggressively to loud music or just shake all of your energy out, right? Just be stupid, act silly. Overall, another thing is to shake your body, to move your body. So through sports, through exercise, through literally just shaking it. So at least for 3 minutes, if you don't do sports, do it for at least 3 minutes and shake out every limb of yours. You can also be punching a bag, punching your pillow, throwing your pillow, go to a rage room, let everything out. Find a way to release all of your energy within you. And this allows the body to metabolize that fire and that energy instead of just storing it and letting it get stuck again, right? The next thing I'm going to mention is you can channel your rage into creation. So you can use your rage as fuel by, I don't know, writing a poem or paint with red strokes or lift heavy weights or just sprinting and running for your life or create something fierce. Just be creative about it. Write a song, whatever your creativity is. Rage is creative energy when redirected the right way, right? The third thing is you can set boundaries. So you need to ask yourself, where in my life is this rage showing me that I have said yes when I meant no? Or where has it crossed a boundary? Where has it not respected me? Where have I gone against myself? Where has someone else gone against me? Write down those places and then choose one boundary to reestablish today, okay? Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's vulnerable, even if it's hard, you need to do it. And the fourth thing is very basic, but journal prompts. So, where am I betraying myself by staying silent? What injustice in my life is this rage asking me to no longer tolerate? What boundary has been crossed? If my rage could speak, what truth would it scream out right now? What am I feeling overall? Right? Just get clear, kind of sort your thoughts out. Just get really honest about what you're feeling, what needs to change, what has actually happened, what is actually going on internally. The next thing is actually breath work, because like I said, rage is stagnant energy, so you need to release it. So breath work will help you to release it and activate the nervous system's release mechanism just by breathing and inhaling deeply and exhaling very forcefully, right? Like you can even make noises while exhaling just to let all of that energy out. And then lastly, we need to reframe the rage. So instead of thinking that you're too much and you're all of these things and shaming you and just spiraling, you need to remind yourself that rage is just your messenger. So you just need to understand and you need to channel it into your truth. So you just need to redirect it, right? There's nothing wrong with you. Everything's fine. You just need to learn how to regulate yourself. So feminine rage overall is not a weakness, nor is it something that you have to be ashamed of. It simply is a compass, right? It shows you where your soul is still demanding alignment, where you still need to be better, where you still need to do better. And when you alchemize rage, instead of fearing it, instead of letting it take control over you, you become untouchable, not because you're cold or because you're numb or mean or all of these things, but because you're fiercely alive, because you're fully living your truth, and also because in some sense you're unwilling to abandon yourself again by working on it, right? But one aspect that I have to mention here, which is vital, is to understand that feminine rage is meant to awaken you and not define you. And there is a dangerous misconception floating around, which is one that it's one that glorifies rage as an identity, right? And you've seen it. You've seen it in women who let their anger towards turn into endless bitterness and projecting it outward onto men and society or the world until it becomes who they are. And that is not empowerment. It's not empowerment when you hate men. It's not empowerment when you say all men are trash. It's not empowerment when you say, oh, we live in this patriarchy that's been built by men and women and whoever else does not belong in it, and we're unfavored and we're all of these things, because there's a difference between just seeing the reality and making it your reality, right? And that is basically when you make it your reality, and when you make it who you are, and you are just bitter all the time and angry all the time at everything, you're making that your reality. You're making that your circumstances. You are basically enslaving yourself to the very wound you are trying to free yourself from, right? So this unintegrated rage becomes poison. And when it lingers, it just hardens in your heart, and it warps your whole perception of everyone and everything around you. So you cannot even see clearly anymore, think clearly anymore. And it turns into this man hating, and into this blame, and into this aggression and a combative energy that just pushes away the very love and connection that you're actually longing for, right? That you're actually searching for, that you're actually trying to get back. And this is the opposite of alchemy. It's just another stagnation in disguise again. So true feminine power is not about being consumed by that rage that you're feeling against society, against people, against yourself. It's about holding that energy without letting it burn you alive, right? Holding that fire without letting it burn you alive. The rage is just your messenger, like every emotion is. It is not your master. It just shows you where you have betrayed yourself, where your boundaries have been crossed, where something is still not right, where injustice has occurred, where something is not good for you. But then it is your responsibility to channel that. And that's the difference between women who actually rise to the occasion and women who just stay stuck in their circumstances. Because the stuck woman either suppresses rage and becomes small, or she over identifies with rage and becomes destructive. The embodied and empowered woman, however, feels the rage, sits with it, listens to it, honors it, feels it, and then moves it into action and into clarity and into truth, and actually becomes a better person out of it. So please hear me when I say this. Let your rage fuel you, but do not let it consume you. If rage becomes your identity, you have already lost the game of reality. You have already lost control. If rage becomes your main fuel, that's when you have found your power.